Hi everybody, Crista Cowan here with another episode of the Barefoot Genealogist. Just a little bit of a warning, I've got some construction going on outside my office today and I've asked them to keep it down, but if the sound gets messed up because of what's going on, I'll re-record the audio later in the day so that we can watch this on replay. So with that said, today's topic is connecting internet finds to your ancestry tree. Now, don't tell anybody I work with, but there are other places on the internet where you can find information about your ancestors, right? And one of the things that we want to do is be able to keep all of the information about our ancestors in a single place. So today what we're going to talk about is some of my favorite places online to find free information about our ancestors and ways you can connect that information to your tree on Ancestry.com so that you have it all accessible in one place to tell the story of your ancestors' life. Okay, let's do it. So first of all, let me just give you a couple of things about where in the web you can find some things about your ancestors. Then I'll show you where on your tree you can put that information. So of course my favorite is Google. You can Google just about anything, but there are some specific ways to search for your ancestor on Google, and then also to do some deep searches to search for records about your ancestor. Those are the kinds of things that aren't going to pop up just in a general search. Let me just show you some of the quickest and easiest ways to access that stuff. Okay, so here is, and I'm doing this live, people, right? So this is an ancestor I have in my tree. I don't know a whole lot about him, so you're going to get to see me do this because I am doing it for the first time. And if it fails miserably, we'll switch over to an ancestor I know a lot about, okay? So here's my information about Daniel Shipman. He's like, I think, a 5th or 6th great-grandfather of mine. We know about when he was born and where, very specifically. We also know when and where he died. We know who he was married to and the names of all of his children, okay? Now, if you scroll down past those children, you have your Member Connect activity, which is other people who are connected to this person. You have your source information. So if I had attached documents out of Ancestry, they would be right here under source information. Now, like I said, this is a person in my tree I haven't done a lot of research into, so there's nothing there yet, okay? Just below that, the very bottom thing on the right-hand side is this web links, okay? And I can add a link, or, and this is what we're going to do first, I can search the web for Daniel Shipman. Now, if I click that, what it does is it opens up another window, and you can see here it's done a Google search, a pre-populated Google search for me. It's searching for Daniel Shipman in quotation marks. That means that it will search for that exact phrase, those two names together, or to return all results for Daniel Shipman, again in quotes, but this time with this little asterisk or wildcard in between. And we do that to account for possible middle names, right, that might show up. Now you can see down here in this first search result, it comes up with 2 men, one named Daniel Pogue and one named Frank Shipman, and that's because the words Daniel Shipman are close to one another with something in between them, which is what that wildcard accounts for. Or, and then Shipman Daniel. As you know, in a lot of indexes and certain kinds of records, the last name is put first. So with just that kind of a search that is, again, pre-populated when you click that web search button on your tree, we get some search results, and then I can scroll through these search results, and what I'm seeing here is not anything that relates directly to him. I'm just skimming these results. Like I told you, I would be doing this live, so what you're seeing is exactly what I'm doing here. Here's one that looks kind of interesting, right? This is records concerning early Shipmans or Burlesons, and Burleson is the maiden name of one of his wives in North Carolina, and I know he lived there, and some of these names and dates look familiar. So I'm going to right click on that, and those of you who've been with me before know that this right click open a new tab is one of my favorite things. It just opens the search results up here so that I can look at them later and still come back to my search, right? I oftentimes will even just go through 2 or 3 pages of search results to see if there's anything else that I might be interested in before I even go look at what it was that I opened. So again, I'm just skimming through these search results to see if there's anything that looks of interest to me. Here's the history of the Burleson family in America. Talks about his will. Sarah Harrington is his daughter, and I know that that was the married name of one of his daughters, so I'll open that one as well. And here's another Shipman family thing, but it's from that same website. It's from that same website that I already opened, so I'm not going to open that again right now. So those are the two search results that I've got to look at. So I'm going to come over here and see what this is. This looks like it's a personal website of somebody's. It's the history of the Burleson family in America, and the source here is as given in a speech by Helen Burleson Kelso, editor of the BFA Bulletin at the BFA reunion held in Decatur, Alabama in June of 1991. And now she has this history of Edward Burleson. Edward Burleson, if I'm not mistaken, is related to Daniel Shipman's wife, who was a Burleson. There's some information about Aaron Burleson. Again, I'm just skimming through what the results are here. Now, if I wanted to save this page for later, or if I had found something on it that was of importance, right, here's the other page. She's actually listed some different places where she's gone to find records of information. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to highlight this web address here. I'm going to copy it, and you can do that by either doing a right click and copy, or you see here the shortcut is Control-C. Then I'm going to come back to my tree, and I have the opportunity here to add a link. And now I'm going to paste that link right in there. Again, that's right click and paste or Control-V. And then I need to give that link a name. So if I come back over here, let's see, if I go home on this page, this is the family history for B. Reed, whoever B. Reed is, right? So what I will probably call this is B. Reed Family History with Shipman Info. Okay, and then I click Save. And now that link shows up right here. I can edit it or remove it at any time. But what it does is it connects what this person has written on their website about Daniel Shipman, and they've titled this page I saved Shipman Records, I assume. Records concerning early Shipmans or Burleson in North Carolina and Alabama. And so now I have a link directly to that. Okay? So that is one of the ways that I use Google. Now, if there was other information here, I can do a few different kinds of searches. Maybe I want to find Daniel Shipman and every instance where he's noted with a Burleson. I can do a search that way. Again, I would skim through the results and see if I can know, let's see, that he died in 1798. So I could put 1798 and see what comes up. Now here you'll see there's a Facebook page, and maybe in a webinar or another presentation later I'll show you about this, but this is a Facebook page that's been created for Daniel Shipman. Now I know this because I'm the one who created it. You'll see here that I'm connected to 53 cousins in this family, and that different people have been asking questions about this ancestor and also sharing information about how they're related to him. So if I wanted to connect this page on Facebook, again, to him, I'm going to right click and copy, come back over here, scroll down to the bottom to add a link, paste that link in there, call it the Daniel Shipman Facebook page, and save. And now I have that link connected to him as well. So that's one of the ways that I use Google specifically. Now, again, when you do your searching, he was born in 1715. I could add a couple of dots. There's his life range now. It would only return me records that show something between those two dates. So it eliminates all the Daniel Shipmans that are living in the 18 and 1900s. Okay. Over here on the left-hand side of Google, there's a couple of other things that I just want you to be aware of if you're not. News. Google, for a while, was digitizing newspapers and then also aggregating newspapers that are online. And so you could click through to that and see if they have any newspapers that relate to your ancestor. Click on this More button here on Google, and you can be taken to books. And one of the books is The Shipman Family in America. And now this particular book, I knew it existed. I was ready for it. Did you hear that? Okay, so this particular book, The Shipman Family in America, was actually published in 1962. So it's still under copyright. So the full book isn't going to be on here. But again, if I want to bookmark a copy of this book and the snippets that it brought up that show Daniel Shipman, I could just copy this URL, paste it back over here under Daniel so that I could come back and either purchase it later or so that I can purchase it later or use it as a resource or have access to it very quickly. Okay, so again, that's under in Google. When you do your search, if you click More, books should be an option. One last place I would check in Google is under blogs. A lot of people have started genealogy blogs, and they talk about their ancestors. And so this gives you an opportunity, like right here, there's a shipmanfamilyhistory.blogspot.com. I might want to check that out. So again, on Google, you're going to do the search directly out of your ancestry tree. You can craft your own search here and play with those search results. Also be sure to check out the news, the books, and the blogs, because those give you more filtered results specific to that type of content. And if you find something that is about your ancestor or that you want to bookmark to check later, you just come back over here to web links and connect that. Okay, let me just go back to our PowerPoint presentation and share with you a couple more of my favorite free websites. Now, hopefully you're familiar with Find a Grave. Find a Grave is a free website. It's findagrave.com. They have over 75 million tombstone photos and memorials for people about where they are buried. Now, one of the things you need to be aware of, and this is kind of a touchy subject, and I'm not a lawyer, so do your own research if you're uncomfortable about it, but here's the deal about photographs. Photographs, the copyright on photographs belong to the person who took the photo. So the photographer owns the copyright, which means you can't just take that photo and do whatever you want with it. So when we find pictures on Find a Grave, it's always thrilling to do so, right? But unless the person who submitted that photo has placed a release, and some of them have placed a release on that photo to say that you can use it however you want, they own the copyright on that. So you don't want to just be copying that photograph willy-nilly, but you can, again, link to the page on Find a Grave. So let me just show you again how to do that. We're going to go to my trusty Samuel Mulliner here. He's an ancestor I know a whole lot about. I wrote a book about him, so usually I use him as an example because I know what I'm looking for. Okay, so we're going to look for Samuel Mulliner on Find a Grave. So again, that's findagrave.com is the website. Because it's a free service, it's very simply laid out, right? The link that you're going to want to use is over here on the top on the right-hand side. You're going to search 75 million grave records, okay? And it'll just take you to a very, very basic search form. Now I'm going to look for Samuel Mulliner, and I know that he's buried here in Utah, and I'm going to click search. And it's going to tell me that there are 6 people who match that search result. And then I'm just going to skim through here until I find him. There he is, buried here in the Lehigh City Cemetery, not far from where I'm at. And you'll see there's a picture of him. There is some information about him that this person has put in. And then there is a photo of his tombstone. And in this case, there's a far away photo and an up close photo, both. These photos were apparently added here by Clark Nielsen. So again, Clark owns the copyright on that. Now I could click through to Clark's name, and I could leave him a message and ask him if I can use that photo or if I can copy that photo elsewhere. Otherwise, what you're going to want to do is, wow, that internet just slowed right down there. Okay, I'm going to copy this this URL up here, right? And then go back over to Samuel, scroll all the way down to the bottom. See here I have records attached, right? Scroll all the way down to the bottom, add a link, put that there, and then just put Samuel tombstone photo on Find a Grave. And now I save it, and that link is now attached directly to him. Okay, so that's how I use the photos on Find a Grave, is by attaching them to the profile if the person has not or is not willing to give permission for me to use that photo. Okay, last couple of things. So one of my other favorite free websites is US Gen Web. So US Gen Web is run by volunteers, again, so it's free. And let's just show you how to get there. It's usgenweb.org. Okay, you're going to come here to the US Gen Web site. You can click on the state here down the left-hand side. I just, for whatever reason, have gotten in the habit of clicking on this state map, or this state link, and it brings up a map. And then any one of those things is clickable. So I could click here on Missouri, for example, and then it takes me to the state, the Missouri Gen Web, right? And then I'm going to scroll down, and they're all different because they're all run by volunteers. So there's no consistent format. Each volunteer that manages the state or the county website does what they can do, right? So I can come down here, and almost all of them will have a search box somewhere so that you can search the entire state. Or what you're looking for is county, a way to get to the counties. In this case, it's a map with clickable links, or a table, which I imagine is alphabetical with clickable links. So when I click on that, then here is a county map of the state of Missouri. I'm interested mostly in people that were living in Stone County, and so I could click on Stone, and that would take me to the Stone County Gen Web page. Again, all volunteer run, all free. Many of these are hosted on Roots Web, which is a service that Ancestry.com supports, also free. And then I just look and see what I can find. I would probably start by looking for a search box, typing in the surname of what I'm looking for, and then it will bring up things like the Stone County photo album with pictures of Sarah Lawrence, submitted by Debbie Hall, right? And maybe some of these pictures here are of some of my ancestors. If I'm not sure, I could contact Debbie Hall here. Again, ask for permission to use these photos if I wanted to connect them, or copy the URL and paste it back on. I have Sarah Lawrence in my tree. I also have R.R. Lawrence in my tree. Copy them back onto the profiles for each of those people. Okay, so that's how I use US Gen Web. The final free site that I just want to talk about today for a minute is, I think it may have already come up. I don't know if you can see it at the bottom of the screen. The bottom of my screen is a little bit cut off, but it's Cindy's List. And if you're not familiar with Cindy's List, what Cindy Howell has done is she has put together the most comprehensive database of links to where you're going to find other information, other genealogical information on the web. So the web address for that is Cindy's List, and it's Cindy with a C-Y-N-D-I-S, cindyslist.com. And when you get there, you can actually do a Google search directly on Cindy's List. So for example, if I was interested in learning more about Pennsylvania genealogy, I could just type that in, and it would bring up all the links that she has, 4,950 of them, all of the links that she has specific about genealogy in Pennsylvania. I could also just drill down into each of those, and then there's links, like for this state, for example, she has links by category, by record type. So if I was interested in birth, marriage, and death records for Pennsylvania, here then is a list of places on the web where I'm going to find those things. So I use that free resource quite a bit, and what happens then is when I find something I'm interested in, I'm able to then go and search that database. Google searches don't search everything online. That's really important to understand, and so we're just going to go really quickly back to Back to the top, which is those Google searches, and let me just share with you one of the other things I do. I do searches for my ancestors a lot, but I also do searches for things like Missouri death records, right? And here you'll discover that it's purple. I've already clicked on it because I use it a lot. The state of Missouri has actually digitized their death certificates and put them online. Now, if I was to search for one of my ancestors in this database, by just using Google, it probably wouldn't show up. But by searching for Missouri death records, I can come here and click search this database. I can say, you know what, show me all Lawrences that died in the state of Missouri. There's 1,033 of them, so I might want to refine my search a little bit, right? Come back here and say, show me all Lawrences who died in Stone County. Who knew there were so many ST counties? There we go. Okay, Stone County, and there are 2 of them. I could then click that image, and you'll see here that it'll bring up an actual image of the death certificate. Now it brings it up in this little window here, and I could save and attach that document, but chances are this particular document is could be copyrighted by the state of Missouri. So what I want to do is just, again, copy this URL and then paste that URL onto the tree for the person that I'm interested in. Come back over here, scroll down, click on this add link, and attach it there. That was a really quick 20 minutes. I don't know where our time goes, but hopefully that gave you some ideas both about what some of my favorite free resources are and also some ways to make sure that you get those records attached, both records that you're certain are your family, also kind of as a bookmarking system so that you can go back and look at things later, and also some ways to just find some really cool things that are available all over the web. Genealogy is exploding and lots of people are getting interested, and so more and more things are being put online every day, and your Ancestry Tree is a really good way to make sure that you can keep all of that organized and in one place about one person. And so that's what those web links allow you to do. That's all I've got for you today. If you have a question, feel free to email me at ask@ancestry.com. We do read all of those emails. We are not able to respond to all of them individually, but they do give us good ideas about what you're struggling with and what some of your questions are so that we can craft these presentations. Anne also answers them as Ancestry Anne over on our Tumblr blog. I hope you'll join her this next Tuesday. She'll be doing on Tuesday, what's the date next Tuesday? February 21st. She'll be doing a presentation on census records beyond names and dates. And if you're watching this live, I'll be on chat in just a few minutes and you can ask me any questions about this presentation. If you're watching this on a replay, I'm glad you joined us and we're able to find this. Hope you'll join us again next time. This is Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree, no matter which direction you're going.